there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be trying to figure out before basketballs get played for the Chicago Bulls. And one of those things is, what will the rotation look like? And I have a question. Is Noah Essengue and Patrick Williams the odd men out in a couple more players? We got to talk about it. And then to end today's episode, we're going to talk about some early rookie of the year hype for Caleb Wilson. But before we talk about it and break it all down, you already know you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Boys podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down for today's daily episode. So if you're tuned in, like what you're listening to today, support the channel in the easiest way possible by performing a simple two-step process, and it doesn't require rhythm. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, man. Hey, we got some things to talk about on today's episode, man. Let's get into the content. Now, the question we got to be asking is Noa Essengue and Patrick Williams the odd men out of the Chicago Bulls rotation? We know that this rotation is going to come down to some guys we absolutely know, or at least I believe, that are going to be a part of the rotation. But where the others fit in is definitely going to be a question on our minds. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk a lot about a number of players heading up into training camp, going through preseason, and once the season starts, and as the season goes on, if we're not seeing the development or the production come from certain players for the Chicago Bulls. Now, I put together a graphic, and I have two categories. The categories is, these guys are definitely going to be in the rotation. And then I have another category called the battleground. Now, I'm sorry if you're listening on all the other social media platforms where we host our podcast and not on the YouTube side, but we do have a graphic for today. Now, we have the definitely in the rotation. I believe most of you all will agree. Caleb Wilson, Josh Giddey, Montes Buzelis, Norman Powell, Nick Claxton, Jalen Smith, and Trey Jones. For the guys that better suit up and the guys that better get ready, I placed in the battleground. It's time to go down to the gulag and set it off, as the Boosie said before. That's Leonard Miller, Patrick Williams, Isaac Okoro, Noah Essengue, Dalen Swain, Zach Collins, and Rob Dillingham are all going to be placed in that battleground category to try to duke it out and see who's going to be a part of the Chicago Bulls rotation. Man, honestly, we're going to see how this thing is going to go. A lot of the times we see coaches typically go with a 8-9-man rotation as the more consistent one. Sometimes, depending on if guys get into some foul trouble, you might see them reach down to that 10th slot. We don't really get down to the 12th and 13th man often unless it's like a blowout or something like that, or the coach is just trying to find some type of answers. But those don't necessarily always happen. Sometimes a coach, and we're going to find out who Tiago Splitter is, sometimes a coach is going to allow his guys to work through something. And y'all let me know, are the definite guys, those names mentioned, where we talk about Caleb Wilson, Montes Buzelis, Norman Powell, Nick Claxton, Jalen Smith, and Trey Jones. I see those people as being the more reliable players to be placed in the rotation. You're not going to sit Caleb Wilson down. We know that. We know that you're not going to sit Montes Buzelis down. And the guy to come off the bench that could provide you with consistent play in Trey Jones, we know he's going to be a part of that. Now, one question that we can throw in there is, will Tiago Splitter figure out or feel that Zach Collins can be, more of a consistent guy off the bench for the Chicago Bulls? I believe that could potentially be a battle. What if it's based on the matchups to where you need more physicality? But Jalen Smith last year performed pretty damn well. So that's why I at least, gave Jalen Smith the nod based off the health versus Zach Collins, and he performed pretty damn well when he was on the basketball court. But don't get me wrong, he did miss some games as well. For this battleground session, we looking at Leonard Miller. I really like what he did when he came over to the Chicago Bulls, and he did a number of things that can contribute to winning. Isaac Okoro is a seasoned vet who has really, really good defensive skills. We definitely got to see what he can do for us offensively with shooting that three ball and some of the things that he was able to contribute on the offensive side. Obviously, that's going to be a question. In Zach Collins, right there in that battleground, we're going to see if it's just, hey, we're going to stick with Jalen Smith on a consistent basis, or if it's going to be matchup dependent. The guys I probably should have created, I ain't going to lie to y'all, I probably should have created another category to keep it a buck with you, because Patrick Williams, Noa Essengue, Dalen Swain, and Rob Dillingham might be a blood in, blood out situation. For real. It might be one of those ones, because for the conversations of Dalen Swain, though I'm not ready to count the kid out, we don't know how the coaching staff is viewing his summer league performance. It was not good. I believe it's not the end all be all. I believe the coaches probably met up with him after summer league concluded and probably gave him some things he needs to work on. And they're going to be having a close eye on him during training camp and preseason. That's my belief. I could be wrong. I'm cool with being wrong, because y'all know if I'm wrong, I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. We all come and put our opinions out there, and we try to figure out what we verbalize what we see, how we feel about certain things, and try to gain some type of insight or try to provide context from what we're seeing. We're not in the building, so it's all opinion based. Definitely had somebody down in the comment box like, it's just my opinion, and I'm with you. It is your opinion, but that don't mean I gotta allow you to say something I agree with. It's the same standard I hold you all to. If you don't agree with me, say, Bobby, I don't agree with you, and this is why. And that's the way I'm gonna roll with it. Because if I don't agree with you, I'm gonna let my co-host C-Dub know, and I will let y'all all know, because this is how we rock over here on Shy Boys Podcast. But we gonna keep a cool booty and not try to get, you know what I'm saying, into the tussling of words. But hey, I'm open to anybody pushing back on my opinions and my takes. I'm open to it. You just better be ready to be open to when I push back versus your takes. Now, with the Dalen Swain stuff, that's why we got to talk about Noa Essengue. The same thing. Tiago Splitter sent a message, in my opinion. Maybe not a stern, hard message on Noa Essengue, but benching him in a summer league, I'm not going to overlook that. Trying to hold him accountable to play more physical and to be more involved, I can't overlook that. Again, I'm not going to overreact, but that says something to me. Just like the previous person we talked about with Dalen Swain being on ball and then moving off ball, that says something to me. It says I can't ignore it, but I'm not going to overreact. But I am watching Noa Essengue closely. And there's a rumor out there, ladies and gentlemen, that they might send him to the G League for some time, according to Joe Cowley. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it for what it is. I'm going to play the wait and see game, but there are some things. And then Patrick Williams, we already know he's a typical 9-4 basketball player. And the reason I'm looking at Patrick Williams and he could potentially be the odd man out is because not only do Tiago Splitter want you to play defense, he wants you to get in the action. We got to tussle. I know for darn well, if y'all see, let's just say one of your closest friends in a tussle, you ain't going to stand by. And if you do stand by, the friend better come handle his business versus you. Or if you tussling and that friend don't get involved, you better go talk to your friend after. So what the point is that P. Will, if we getting active, Montes Buzella's doing this thing, Caleb Wilson doing this thing, Josh Giddey distributing the ball, guys knocking down shots. Bro, you got to be a part of the party. You got to be a part of the conflict. You got to be a part of this meeting. And we ain't talking about no Zoom meeting. We talking about physical in-presence meeting. And we know Patrick Williams is a mental thing. It's constantly a mental thing. And if we looking at the stats where, you know what I'm saying, we bringing in Patrick Williams to discuss all this, it's been declining, that 3-point percentage. We're going to need that, bro. We're going to need that from Patrick Williams. And how this is not an AK guy. Your calling card may be on defense, but I'm sure this coaching staff is not going to ignore the offensive side of the ball and the lack thereof of aggressiveness from his players, especially if you're seeing it from guys who I believe in more than Patrick Williams, a Leonard Miller. So one has to really sit down and ask, Noah, Summer League, you ain't been here. I put expectations on you. What you got for me? P. Will, you been here. You literally one of the older guys here. What you got for me? Could they potentially be the odd man out is all I'm asking. Y'all let me know. Let me know if I'm going too far with this. Real talk. Because Noa Essengue, high draft pick, raw talent, definitely had a whole offseason to work on some things after getting healthy. P. Will, the quote-unquote veteran. I guess that's what we should call him, right? You been here for a while, bro. What you gonna do? Rob Dillingham is in there because he is on the team. I believe the young guy got something. I just don't know where he fits in, bro. Maybe they have a different plan. We'll see. We'll figure it all out. Let me know what y'all think down below, bro, because that's an interesting one, for real. But, hey, before we get up out of here, I want to talk about Caleb Wilson, early Rookie of the Year hype. According to ESPN analysts Shakia Taylor, Eric Nim, and Jared Weiss of The Athletic, they believe Caleb Wilson is going to give the guys that was drafted above him a run for their money for the Rookie of the Year. And that's me paraphrasing. They said they were challenging, that he's going to challenge them. I say give them a run for their money. Now, there's a number of ways that we could break this whole situation down. You look at Darren Peterson and you say, hey, you over there in Utah, you surrounded by guys like Laurie Marketing, who's gonna, you ain't just gonna chuck up no shots, bruh. Triple J over there. Ace Bailey's gonna have something to say about that. So we'll see how the performance is, even though I believe he's really, really talented. Then with AJ being in Washington with the likes thereof of Anthony Davis, Trey Young, Alex Sarr, we'll see where he gets in at. The same thing obviously could be said about Caleb Wilson as well. Like, you have Montes Buzelis, who's going to take some shots. You have a Norman Powell. He's going to take some shots. And I kind of understand why Cam Boozer is the quote-unquote, at least according to some sports book, the odds favorite right now, because he ain't got that many mouths to feed. And I believe he's going to be placed as the offensive hub because his passing ability. And I believe he's going to be a consistent 18 and 10 type of player. So with Caleb Wilson, he definitely got to put the work in. I love the early hype, but we got to watch the basketball games. It is going to be an awesome season with the way that the East is shaping up, has shaped up. Bruh, the East is on par with the West now. There's no more the West is clearly better than the East. That's out the window. Honestly, that's literally out the window now. We got to talk about that, y'all. Me and C-Dub going to have to sit down and really talk about that with y'all, because there's no more the West is clearly better. There's not. The East just won a chip. The East just won a chip. The East caught up. When you think about all these transactions that didn't transpire over this offseason, especially looking at them Sixers, looking at the Cavs making it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, we don't know what the Boston Celtics are going to be like, but Jason Tatum, Paul George, and a couple young guys they're gonna still have something to say about that. We're talking about the Atlanta Hawks who got Lou Dort. We're talking about the Indiana Pacers who just got Halliburton back. So it's gonna be fun in this East. And when it comes to Caleb Wilson, he got to come show up to play. So I do love the hype. I really love the hype. And I believe the kid got the mindset to get it done, to go and capture that. You know what I'm saying? And even if he doesn't get the Rookie of the Year, I'm satisfied with seeing him receive some votes for it, but ultimately seeing him develop. That's the most important thing. The individual accolade is just the cherry on top. You know what I'm saying? But the Sunday that's supposed to get dropped off at the table, that's supposed to be much better than just adding the cherry on the top. We trying to make sure that this young guy can help continue this move forward. So we're gonna see what eventually happens. I understand the Rookie of the Year hype. Cam Boozer is the leader in odds right now. Caleb Wilson, I believe last time I checked, was second. So maybe the youthfulness of the Chicago Bulls. Because last point, when we compare the top four, I believe, and y'all let me know where you stand on this, with the top four. I believe that Utah and Washington are a little more ahead than the Memphis Grizzlies with Cam Boozer and the Chicago Bulls with Caleb Wilson. Do y'all feel like that too? Because I feel like those two guys and AJ and Darren, they're a little bit more ahead. They got some guys that made all-star teams surrounding them. You know what I'm saying? While the Chicago Bulls and the Memphis Grizzlies, they got some good players on there. But to my recollection, there's no all-star on the Memphis Grizzlies. There's no all-star on the Chicago Bulls currently at this moment. So that's why I could understand the odds when they say these two guys may have such an impact, they could potentially be in the running for some Rookie of the Year honors. You know what I'm saying? Because didn't I know Cooper Flag won it, but who was the rookie that was right behind him? Oh, Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper had, right? Yeah, Dylan Harper had, he was just with the San Antonio Spurs. They went to the finals. And he, you know what I'm saying, was on a more winning situation. And Cooper Flag still won that award because his impact, what he was able to do night in, night out as the individual player on a talentless team. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting this upcoming season. It's going to be a fun one because this is what Adam Silver wanted. Parity and balance. The parity and balance is here. And Caleb Wilson, let's see what you do, buddy. We're going to keep talking about this. Y'all know that's going to be more. It's going to be more conversations with this. But, hey, man, that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode. Before you get up out of here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. We on our road to 20K. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you always see red. You already know. We're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
Cognac. Gang.